Hello, everybody. It's your boy, Reckless Ray Dinero, back at it again, Sunday, February 26th, with the portfolio updates. We've made some moves since last week, but before we get to that, let's handle the housekeeping. First and foremost, shout out to the bag chasers. Bag chasers get this information first. The reason being, I am a bag chaser. I am in that Patreon group. That is not my Patreon group. It is the Anton Daniels of AntonDaniels.com Patreon group. Link is in the description. You can join up. It is the quickest way to get direct access to me. I am in the Discord. You can catch me in there. In the crypto section, obviously. I chime in other sections when relevant, but 90% of the time, I'm lurking around that room trying to help where I can, providing insights and information, and talking shop. Again, link is in the description. Another way to get a hold of me for collaboration, reaching out, sponsorship, all that fun stuff. Questions, if you want your questions answered. If it's not in the Discord, you will not get a direct answer. If you want your question answered on air, you can email me at recklessraydinero@gmail.com. I can be reached there. Also, this is not financial advice. I'm just some guy on the internet who is letting you know the moves that he is making within this crazy world known as cryptocurrency. So, updates for this week. First off, we will jump into it and we will look at the list. We're going to start off with this week's top 10. Coming in at number one, as always, probably for the rest of this year, is Ethereum. There should not, with the way that I'm coming into the market, ever be a number one that's over Ethereum until we start actually seeing some of these coins move. Then maybe, depending on if there's some price spikes in some of my picks. Number two is Synthetic Network, SNX. Number three, Yearn Curve, YCRV. Number four, Wrapped Bitcoin. That is WBTC. Number five is a new one. Back on the charts again. And after last week's episode, I did some looking and I decided that I would go ahead and get this back in as one of my positions. Obviously this position is not done now, but we're getting there. So we have Alchemix, ALCX, back on the list. And the reason being is the price potential on that jump. So I'm going to have both on-chain and the convex farm because the price is right, basically. Number 6 is Velodrome Finance. This is one where I took a payout and then I sat on it because I didn't know what to do with it. And it jumped up a lots of percents. So now it's on the top 10 list. Number 7 is Frax, which is paired with the Alchemix position. It's just a stable coin. Number 7 is Synthetic BTC. Again, obviously this is Treasury holding right here. Number 9 is USDC coin. That is a synthetic dollar. And number 10, rounding out the end of it, is Cosmos Hub. As we're moving forward, obviously this Alchemix position is going to continue to grow because my convex farms, I give myself a little bit more leeway because they are less volatile than my other farms, and they also pull in, obviously, the APRs and the APYs on those are dramatically less than some of my degenerative positions. So I've got another influx going into this, but I figure if we catch that Alchemix run, that'll force that whole entire position up because obviously it's paired with two stables. It's going to be a pretty solid earner. And yeah, and so after the experience in the back in the DeFi space on the degenerative farming. I don't know that I want to do that anymore. It's just the amount of work you have to go I had to put into that, and like the management and like watching it and worrying about it. I don't know that that's going to be the move for me moving forward. That sounds like a lot of work for very little gain. Like, I don't see why I need to build those positions up when I could have solid positions that are going to grow. Like, it's just going to be a lot of work. So unless something comes across my peer view that makes sense, I will not. I'll be focusing in on getting literally all of my other positions that are important to me set and on chain and staked before I go back to trying to find degenerative stuff. I'm going to go ahead and build out a solid foundation, solid movers, stuff that I can set, semi forget, because I'm not planning on moving those coins for 12 to 24 months. And, I can check back and collect earnings. And I think that's what we're going to do moving forward. So we're going to dial in on getting this farming position done. I'm going to look and see if there's anything else lurking around Convex that I want to do. And, I'll jump in on that. But outside of that, I think we're gonna keep it pushing. This is obviously gonna push the value of those positions up because I'm not gonna be doing anything super risky. But I am really interested in seeing how this plays out, because like after thinking about it, I was like, I'd rather catch these gains than fight tooth and nail to make an extra $100, hopefully, and hopefully my money doesn't get lost. That said, we're going to share another cautionary tale of what happened to me this work week. So I got reached out to by someone who was supposedly from Coinbase. I don't use Coinbase. I have a Coinbase account, but I do not use Coinbase. I haven't used Coinbase for quite some time. I got a call, and it was a guy. It wasn't like a Middle Eastern person or somebody from India. It was like a very American sounding dude. Spoke English very well. And he's like on the phone with me, and he's like taking me through these steps because he said like the account was compromised and somebody tried to move 0.1 Bitcoin, which, looking that up, we can go, hold on, I'm pulling this up so that we can look at this together, because it wasn't a Bitcoin, because that would have seemed outlandish, but 0.1 Bitcoin, that's like $2,300. I would know if I had $2,300 in an exchange, especially one that I don't use. So that, like, after, and I didn't think about this at the beginning of the call, but there was a withdrawal for 0.1 Bitcoin, and he said it was from somewhere in Europe, and my account was compromised. And I'm like, oh geez, like, yeah, let's get on this. Now mind you, I'm on a job site actively covered in sawdust, and shout out to the blue collar workers. We are the ones who build America, and they're paying us really well to do it, contrary to the talking points in these YouTube streets. Would be more than happy to have a money fight. But so I'm like, oh yeah, like let's get this done. So then this person already had my phone number, they already had my email, and so they sent me a email confirmation and a text message. And so like the second piece of it, like after he'd confirmed what kind of phone I had, this was where the conversation got weird. Confirmed what kind of phone I had. He then confirmed the email and was like, yeah, like this is what you need to do. Like we've got to re-authenticate your account. You got to go into this link and put in a new password. So after he sent the email confirmation to confirm the service call, he kept like bringing up the fact that like he kept wanting to talk about the reason behind them having outgoing calls. And I was like, at that point I didn't care, because like I'm like, if it's a security measure, I'd rather you call me and like protect my money than not call me and not protect my money. But he kept like wanting to go back and revisit it, which immediately started getting me to think a little bit weird, because this is a different attempt to get me to change something than before. The other thing that was a red flag for me in this phone call was after we got done talking about the types of phones I had. And the reason being is if you are on iPhone, they're very secure, except when they make a hack for an iPhone, it works on pretty much all of them. So when he's confirming the phone that I have, then shooting me the text message with the link that I'm supposed to click, that's how they hack your phone. Because then it gives them everything. So, like, when the text came in, I stopped and I was like, hey, do I need to do this right now because I'm at work and, I'm kind of in the middle of something? Can I just handle this later? Like, since it's just logging in and changing a password. Like, you shouldn't need to be on the phone for that because I, being in construction and IT, know the process for IT. Like, I'm like, if I don't need to be on the phone for it, like, I'm not going to be on the phone for it when I'm helping a client. Well, this dude then tries to convince me, like, oh no, you need to go ahead and click that link, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, no. So I hung up on him and he didn't call back. Moral of the story is these scams are getting much more complex and much more in depth. Like, generally speaking, and I'm not even sure 100% sure it's a scam, but like I know for a fact that I don't have $2,300 on any Coinbase account because I haven't used any of those accounts in years. Years. Like, I don't use Coinbase. I don't like the platform. I don't like anything about them. So like I know I didn't leave $2,300 just sitting there. So I'm not. So like for me, like obviously, like I could go log in and check, but I know for a fact that there's not $2,300 on a Coinbase account that I own. I know for a fact that there's not. No, there at no point aside from when I initially was mining and money was going there was there ever over $1,000 in a Coinbase account that I owned at one time ever. Except for that one time when I first got in the market and I didn't know any better, and that was the first exchange I signed up with. So they're they're getting creative about trying to get people's information. And like there's no telling how much information they would have gotten had they hacked my phone. So with that said, you gotta stay on your guard at all times. Like matter of fact, like generally speaking, like if I was to do this again, I would set up like a second Google Voice number that wasn't my main number that I just used for that, to be honest. Like as far as best practices, like set up a Google number that you can have access to, that you just keep relevant. Like even if you have an iPhone, you can get Google Voice and set up a Google number tied to your Gmail account. Something of that nature would probably be best, so that way you just know for sure that in these breaches only a specific number is being like if they get a hold of a phone number, only a specific number is gotten a hold of. You know what information comes in through that number on a regular basis. Nothing is surprising because they're definitely putting in the extra work. Like they're it's not just people with accents that are doing this. These are very well spoken people with good English and very convincing that they're in America. Probably could be in America at this point. You never know. Like people are out here doing anything and everything. The economy's bad and a lot of people are losing. So at that point, it's dog eat dog. And while I don't like it, I understand, but they ain't fooling me. So with that, we're going to take a look and see what our pie chart's looking like. Obviously, the synthetics position's big. Ethereum's big. We're adding stuff in. That Alchemix position's at 3%. That's going to grow. Wrap Bitcoin will also be growing because that is the Treasury reserves. We're trying to get some growth off that. I mean, with the way that Velendrum's running, that position could easily start growing. But we're still in the green. We're in the green on the 24-hour. I don't really look at the 24-hour ever. I look at the total, and we're still sitting up above over 30%. Like this is like I said, very good start, very fortuitous start to the year. Definitely definitely happy about buying into this. So with that said, it's going to be kind of a little bit shorter than normal. We're probably going to have a little bit more depth. I'm going to try and get some more news, interesting news. There's nothing that really caught my attention this week. No big red flags aside from me almost getting scammed out of some money. Actually, I don't even think what would have really sucked was it would have been depressing for them to have gone through that work to get into an account that had nothing in it but like maybe some dust. Like they would have gotten into an account that like maybe has $5 in there. Maybe. Wouldn't have even been worth it. It would have been like a terrible waste of time because like I definitely like put that dude through the paces as we were going through it to weed out and verify for myself that that was a basically a scam. I was uncomfortable with it. So I was like the, and then for them to get into the account and not get anything would have been classic. The one thing that they potentially would have got was they would have compromised my phone. That would have been an issue. That aside, it would have been a worthless endeavor for the account that they were trying to get into because like I know for a fact that there's not over $5 in there, and it's only reason there's $5 in there is because like if you just have dust in an account, it's not even worth it to try to move that because the fees are higher than what you're moving. Like it's just not a point. So, anyways, obviously, shout out to the Bag Chasers. You guys will be getting this today, Sunday, February 26th. Everybody else will be getting it on Wednesday, the 1st of March. Hopefully, we're on a trend of warm weather and this winter mess is over. Hopefully, you are having a good week and that your hump day is going well and you're going to be on the downhill part of your week. But most importantly, I'm hoping that you're all making decisions and making plans and acting on those plans and following up on those plans and staying the course on those plans to make this year the best year of your life. Ways to support the channel: you can like, subscribe, and share. Down in the comments, how many of you have they attempted to scam? Have you gotten a text, a random text, a random email that's just fishing for information from you? How many of you have experienced this as well? Let's talk about it down in the chat. Leave me a comment, tell me your stories. I'll chime in, give you some feedback on it. Let's talk. Until next week, friends. This is your boy, Reckless Ray De Niro, and I'm going to be signing off. You guys have a wonderful rest of your weeks.